another recording by Melo's son Chaz, aka the Golden Toad, and I am happy that you are here today. Now, we're going to talk about article, this article here on none other the chilling adventures of Sabrina. Now, if you've seen this, well, the show's out, but if you've seen the preview and if you've definitely seen the show, then chilling is an understatement. We'll be coming to the words of not just chilling. We're talking about demonic. We're talking about satanic. We're talking about mortifying. We're talking about disgusting and ends of just gory and just total unnecessary use of imagery to wreak week of eeriness in the essence of the film. Now, just one little thing I've noticed it's like a drug with the movie industry, with the film industry, is that they have to create something more and more and more explicit when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to uh, the horror genre, when it comes to action, when it comes to comedy. They have to go off the wall and make it even more gory, make it even more demonic, make it even more scary. Every movie, it's just more and more explicit. And this is what we have here. If you've seen a difference between the former Sabrina TV show and today's Sabrina TV show, starkly different, starkly, all right, more demonic and more sinister. It's like night and day, all right. And there's another video up above. If you see it right here, I'm pointing to it. The chilling adventures of Sabrina versus Sabrina. The one above at the top. It shows you that pretty much this Sabrina actually is nothing like the Sabrina that it's made after, copied after. That it's actually the old Sabrina is more like Bewitched, and this Sabrina is more like Buffy the Vampire. So they're using the name Sabrina, but the air of the show, the tone of the show, and the direction of the show is entirely different than where they're getting the material from. Okay, now speaking of where they got material from, that gets me to the article here about when you have an issue, when you have a problem, when the very Satanic Temple is suing Netflix for a satanic um, TV show. Now they're not. They basically say that what the Satanic sense in this TV show is totally antithetical. That they're at odds. That they actually stole an image of Baphomet statue that was copyrighted, according to them, is copyrighted, and they weren't. Nobody gave them permission, Netflix, to use that copyright of them. Okay, and that's a statue that they, I guess, designed and created. Um, Now, what's interesting is that most people may not know that the Satanic Temple, according to them, has nothing. Their ideals supposedly the ideals have nothing to do with Satanism, nothing to do with what one perceive as Satan. Now, I'll get to that, which is just a smoke and mirrors, because it really does, because there's a light and a dark side to this. There's the same two different fields, the same agenda, the same purpose. It's just like politics, okay, Republican and Democrat, okay. Well, they're all going to the same purpose, the same players, the same people pulling the strings, okay. So we have here is that what is pulling these things together is that it's money, okay. The love of money is the root of all evil. Now they're gonna sue Netflix, and they're most likely gonna get settlement. They're gonna get money from it, you know, off of a copyrighted image that they didn't get permission from Netflix to use, basically. Um, so not only are they getting paid to further their goals, but undoubtedly Netflix, no doubt's gonna get paid, is getting paid for this release of material and production. Um, so at the end of the day, they both are winning. At the end of the day, they're both agendas are being met, where they are propagating this satanic, demonic infiltration of, uh, of totally sinister and evil images and proliferation of knowledge and ideas of witchcraft. Um, and not only causes this lawsuit, the Satanic Temple, to more people to be knowledgeable of them and what they are standing for, which is according to them totally opposite of what they portray witches and what they portray Satan to be. Now, what is interesting is that they're trying to show themselves that, okay, we are totally the opposite of what they portray the Satanic Temple or the image of the Baphomet to be. Okay, and let me quote. Um, the show decided to use our central icon exactly as we designed it, as the central icon for their stories, evil human sacrificing satanic cult. Okay, now, and they're basically saying that they are at direct odds, that it's totally antithetical, that they're like night and day, polar opposites, and that the Satanic Temple actually, what the Satanic Temple is saying that what they're about is that we are our icon for unbound will of the unsilenced inquirer. No, nobody knows what that means. We're trying to present ourselves as a peaceful religion. And we know, okay, we know, we know that not only, a little side note, not only is the films and movies becoming more and more explicit in order to get into the minds of the public. So we have these increased killings, we have these increased murders, we have this increased rapes, we have this increase of lawlessness. Okay, because it's in the minds and getting in the hearts of people through this explicit media production, making everything more and more real. Okay, no longer dull, but it's more and more explicit. So no, not only do we have this, where you're having the satanic dark side of the the the, the Satanism, basically, but you also have this quote light side where we were peaceful and we don't represent um, that which is demonic and evil and blood sacrifices and and pitchfork and horns. That we are peaceful and a civil people. Now, they need this agenda because um, if they're trying to take over, if they're trying to, what's their agenda um, is to control the earth. If their agenda is to covertly control the masses, they can't do it on the satanic, explicit dark side because people are afraid of that. They have to do it in the peaceable, civil, okay, we're not pitchfork and horn side. Now we know that the Antichrist is not coming as a guy with pitchfork and horns. We know that the Antichrist is coming as a person that's gonna try to bring peace to the earth. It's going to be accepted by the world, and it's going to bring uh, all the religions together. Now, a person that does that obviously couldn't be and come off as a person pitchfork and horns. It's blood sacrificing. Well, initially, you can't. Um, so that's why we have the scripture that says that the devil comes as angel of light. He can masquerade as an angel of light. Uh, so we have these two sides of the same force of evil working together. One that's overtly evil, overtly satanic, and the other one that's covertly being civil and not unappealing to the man's senses and eyes. Um, so I think it's also interesting that that which is on the overt side, that's his pitchfork and horns, that is coming off as demonic and just out there. They call themselves the Church of the Night. I will bring God into this mix, but why do people fear that which is demonic more than they fear God? Why do people fear horror movies? Why do people fear the dark and that which is sinister more than they fear God? When is God the one that's supposed to be feared? Is God the one that actually, the one that people should fear most? Because he created everything. He created all things. And in fact, they call themselves the Church of the Night. Well, let's look at this scripture. And Psalm 74:16 says, "The day is yours, and yours also the night." God owns the day as much as he owns the night. So there's nothing that the Church of the Night can do that God doesn't know. You're exposed in light. You're exposed because, what does this say? It basically says that even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day. For darkness is as light to you. You cannot even hide. The Church of the Night cannot even hide because the darkness is as light to him. The darkness is as light to God. And even more interesting, the Church of Living is according to the book of Revelation. According to the book of Revelation, and we're talking about a revelation that John, the Revelator, got. He saw into the future, and the future is as existent as it is, as the present is now. So what John saw in the future, it already is a reality in a different realm. So what is John saw the future, but it's already a reality in a realm that which we haven't assimilated to, that which as a world consciousness in the world collective haven't come into fruition. But what is interesting is that the night doesn't even exist. The Church of the Night doesn't exist because in the book of Revelation it says there will be no more night. There's no more night. To God, the night is as day, and the day is his night, and the day is his, and the night is his. He owns all of you. And he decides when all of you come to an end. I think that's really interesting, if you ask me. But yeah, I mean, we cry about all killings. We cry about all these shootings. Uh, um, uh, 11 Jews being killed, and shootings in schools, and people raping another, and bombings. But we have this in the music that we listen to. We have this in the TV and shows and the movies that we watch. We pump this out, and uh, and put money into it, and then get sad and cry, and then pray for something that something that we create ourselves. It's like expecting a different result. It's insanity. All right, but yeah, God's gonna put that to rest, and it's already been put to rest. Uh, as you see in the Book of Revelation, there is no night, and what should be feared is God. What should be feared is Christ, because the beginning of wisdom, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Fear. No, one shouldn't fear the devil. One shouldn't fear these things that seem sinister, and they seem like they're scary. It's not appeasing to the eyes. It's like dark, but God dwells in darkness. God wraps himself in light, and he dwells in darkness. You just trying to wrap you guys' mind around this, that there's no reason. The person that you should fear is God. And now it's a different type of fear. Okay, we don't fear God as we fear, or we don't, if there's some boogeyman in the closet or under the bed, like that type of fear. It's a fear of the unknown, something creepy. But we have a different fear for God, of course. But also, there's a reverence. It's a certain fear. But we should fear God more than we fear that which is, quote, dark. Because God dwells in darkness. God owns day and the night. The darkness is as day to him, and as light. And there will be no night. In the book of Revelation it says. So it's just interesting why we glorify the demonic, we glorify the satanic in this chilling adventures of Sabrina. How is this chilling? How is this chilling exactly? What's so fascinating about this? Why don't we ever see any shows on the chilling adventures of Sam's son, or something angelic, something celestial? But when you have the show Supernatural, everything is demonic. Everything is demonic and satanic. It's nothing ever where we're seeing something positive. We're always seeing something dark and sinister. Is that the type of world we're trying to live in? And then we cry, and then we mourn over the deaths, and what we also create, we consume. We consume these into our minds and our hearts, and it manifests in our world. And then we cry about what we create, when we are the creators of our own universe. We call this insanity, expecting different results. So, fear God. God is more terrifying than this show can ever be. God is more terrifying than the enemy or anything else can ever be. It's a different type of terrifying. Terrifying to make you glad. It's not a terrifying that will oppress you. it's the right type of reverence you need. But this type of fear over the demonic is just to elicit more interest, and it's just to oppress you. It's just to bring you down. It's nothing to help you in your life. That's why I don't understand why they promote these forms of quote education, of they call it entertainment. It's just spewing, spewing the insanity. It's spewing, or I'm just lost for words here. But I hope you learned something from this recording, and you have a wonderful night and day. It's the same as to the Lord. It's the same as day and night. So have a wonderful rest of your day and night.